All right. Happy Friday. If you are watching this on the replay, we have to catch you up to speed because before we hit record, I was putting on mascara as we were waiting for everyone to hop on. And there's a reason why you shouldn't use your Zoom camera as a mirror when people are getting on your Zoom, because what actually happens is people get on and then your Zoom mirror all of a sudden starts going all over the place and you get a black spot of mascara on your eye that you can't fix. I can't fix now. I can't leave you guys. And so I don't want to leave you guys. It's not an I can't. I don't want to leave you. So if you're watching on the replay and you're wondering why there's a black dot on my eye, that's why, because I put my mascara on when people were getting on the Zoom. That's what I get for vanity, I guess. All right. I wore my Target shirt for you guys today because it's so funny and I'm going to teach you about it because it's like the reason why it's so funny is because of the thought, right? It says, me, take all my money. Target, thanks, girl. See you next week. I'm going to do a post about it because it's so relatable. And why is it so relatable? Because we all have thoughts, right? 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day is average. Now, some of you listening are thinking, I'm above average on the thought scale. And others of you are like, there's no way that I have that many thoughts. But there is. You're just not noticing all of them, right? How many times have you set a goal to have a budget? And you're like, okay, I'm going to have a budget and I can't even go into Target because if I go in the store without a list or even step through the doors, my budget is blown, right? And it's almost like you feel like it's out of your control, but it is totally within your control. And if you are someone who is working on trying to have a budget in any store, whether it's online shopping, I had to take the Jane app off of my phone. The Jane app, my friend is the owner and CEO of Jane, the company Jane. It's jane.com. It's like a clothing accessory, little trinket online store that they created years and years and years ago. Our daughters cheered together back when they were littler. And I told her, I was like, Megan, I had to take the app off my phone. You guys have just way too much good stuff. Your stuff is too good and not that I can't afford it, but it was like, I was shopping to feel good, to feel better about certain things that I was going through. Now, whenever I want it, I just go to the website, I order what I want. I decide ahead of time how much I'm going to spend, not because I can't spend more, but because I'm using my prefrontal cortex to make a choice ahead of time before I do it. That's the power of our thoughts. That's the power of our human brain. So notice within yourself, if you're giving your power away to, in this example, Target, or if you want to take it back and say, yep, I might, or I just want to blow $200 a month at Target on nothing that has anything to do with anything in my family that we need, or whatever you want to say, right? The power of our thoughts, so incredibly powerful, and the best news ever, because it's where we take our power back. All right. Your power is limitless. There is no limit. And when you notice the things that you give it away to, that's when you get to really reach your full potential. So we are going to start today with Michele, and we'll go from there. All right, Michele, tell me what I can help you with today.
Well, I'm going to try and organize my thoughts quickly because I know we're on a,
Oh, you are just fine. You don't even worry about rushing, or
I want to use your time wisely. I really thank you for putting this out there, and I'm so excited that I got a slot. And I feel like I know you and your family from forever ago because of the amazing things you do on Instagram, and I love Cosette and all the things. But So I'm going to be 51 in a couple months, and I've been with Plexus. It was 8 years in August. And one of my oldest friends, Lori Bradford, shared Plexus with me. And I signed up immediately. You know, she knew the things that I needed, definitely financial and some health issues. Quickly, I became a silver. And for about, I don't know, 7.5, 7.75 years, I'm still a silver. And that's as far as I went. For reasons of, I only used them for the products, or, you know, for the health benefits. My own life stuff came in, and I just didn't do anything with the business. So it's kind of a twofold question here. I have not missed a convention in 8 years, well, except for last year's. I do all the things, show up at all the events, but for some reason, I just always feel stuck. And then my mindset says, you're going to be 51. You've done this for 8 years. Just stop. Your pass has come. They've taken the pass and you're over. I've talked with Lori about this extensively, and she always reminds me, like, yeah, you could quit, but if you don't quit, then you're going to do something. My biggest issues obviously is my mindset of, is it just too late? The people that I've shared with for 8 years, they're just so tired of the same old thing, of my talk. I went through a lot of ambassadors, and people usually just leave and quit the products. And I feel like there is a block on my social media. I don't post very much because I'm always worried to post. And there's only certain people that I really do follow that I want to be like. You are one of them, that show just real life. And I'm like, why can't I just do that? And I just overanalyze the perfectionism that has to be there in a post. So I don't post a lot. So I realize that about myself. And I'm starting to feel, and I need to dive deeper, is an issue with money. I am a Christian, a believer, and I always feel like, oh, does God want me to have money? Or does he just want to provide it like he does with the sparrows? You know, I mean, I know it's not going to grow on my trees in my backyard, but the relationship with money, I'm finding that I worry, will I be the same person? So I know I'm all over the board, Emily, but I guess my first things are, I've been here for 8 years and I've been a silver the whole time. And I definitely want more from my husband. And I'm tired of worrying, like, is it too late? Am I spinning the wheel? You know, I did the momentum with you and Brooke at home here. And I think my issue a lot is consistency, you know, of just doing the work. But it's discouraging and embarrassing when I do try and reach out to people, and then they say, oh, how long have you been in Plexus? And I'm like, oh, I've been here 8 years. And if I'm trying to share the business, then they always ask, oh, well, where are you? And then I just think, oh, how do I tell them I'm still a silver? It doesn't look good, I feel like. I mean, I know not everyone's going to be, you know, I'm speaking about Lori because she's my only one that I know. My sponsor she went diamond in 11 months. And so I try and just feed off of other people's success because I'm embarrassed about my own. And I don't feel like people are going to want to join me when I've been a silver for 8 years. You know, you tell me this is so great, but how come you're not doing great? So I'm talking too much, Emily. So I'm just going to stop.
You're not.
Talking.
I'm writing down lots of things, and I love how you're sharing your thoughts so freely. It is incredibly powerful. So
well, I trust you 100%. Yeah, I do.
I love it. And I've got you. Okay. I've totally got you. One of the questions that I want to ask you before we put something into a model is, what are other ways that you can interpret what you've achieved in your company so far?
I feel that an achievement is I haven't quit in 8 years. I don't know if I'm understanding or if I'm answering that correctly or if I understand the question.
Mhm.
I think it's an achievement that I still want to share or that I believe in the products, that I haven't quit sooner. You know, I haven't quit, period, yet. I shouldn't say sooner. I've come close, but I just don't feel right quitting.
And let's just, I want to go here first. We're just going to put my rank is the first rank. Would that be true to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And your thought about that is what?
That it is still a rank, that it is still something that someone should celebrate.
Right. But what's your brain telling you about it? When you're like, my rank is silver.
Small.
My rank is silver.
Yeah, my rank is silver and it is small. That it is.
And what's the problem with that?
The problem is that I know that there's so many people that are much higher that started where I did.
So that, do you feel like your thought is, I should be further along?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
I should be further along. Okay. And you said you think this when you're talking to people about the business and they ask you how long you've been in the company, and instantly you're like, oh, I don't know what to say to them. Like, I'm so embarrassed. Right. So when you think, oh no, it's fine. When you think I should be further along, what feeling in one word comes up for you?
Shame.
Okay. And I almost want to go back and I want to get even more clear, because I feel like this thing that happened in your messenger, like you said, when I'm messaging with people and they ask me about the business, I actually want to like rewind a little bit and go to that specific moment, because I think it's going to give us a lot of answers. And so can you tell me the last time that you were in messages with someone and they asked you, well, where are you? Like, is that a specific message that happened?
It's more in person.
Okay. When was the last time that happened?
To be honest with you, it was at the beginning of COVID.
Okay. So last year. Okay. So last year, you were talking to a friend?
Yes, a longtime friend.
And the friend said what?
She was asking about the money, as far as how do you make money with Plexus? So I was telling her, and that led to, as you make money, you rank up, and I was sharing with her the different ranks, and she said, oh, well, where are you? And I used to always say, oh, well, I'm just a silver, but I've gotten rid of the word just. And I said, I'm a silver. And she's a friend that I have known probably 16 years, so that I don't mind telling her the exact amount. But I am honest with her to say, now you could pass me up, but this is where I am. And I tried to change the conversation pretty quick.
So last year, your friend said, where are you? And you said, I'm a silver. And did she say anything back?
No, she just kind of, they get that little head shake like, oh, okay. And I assume that she's thinking in her mind, I need something way more than this.
Okay. So last year, friend said, where are you? I said, I'm a silver. And you think what?
And I internally think I'm embarrassed that I'm not further along. And why would she actually want to say that?
You feel embarrassed when you think I should be further along.
Yes.
Okay, there. Now we've got something really good here. I should be further along. Okay. So when you think I should be further along, you feel embarrassed. And when you felt embarrassed in that moment, you said you tried to change the conversation, change the subject.
Yes.
Do you remember what you changed the subject to, just out of curiosity?
Yes, I go towards people that I personally know that are making much more money.
So change the subject to other people in business.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine.
I take the focus off of me, which I think is a negative, and I try and shine the light on, Amber.
Off of me, shine light on
Amber or Lori.
Someone else. So like some deflecting.
Yeah.
Some deflecting. Okay. And what else did you do when you felt embarrassed?
I feel like I am I could put on that fake smile and act like everything's fine so that they could somehow believe in this with me.
What does that look like when you do that? Are you actually putting a smile on your face? Like you said, I put on a fake smile. Describe to me what that looked like in that moment.
Okay. I literally will make sure that I feel very light. I look not stressed when I'm telling her like, oh, I don't put on a sour face. I try and stay like upbeat and positive. And I would say, and I start bringing up highlights of other people. And if I feel like it's kind of going away where I'm losing the conversation, I'll go back to the products instead of the business. Something that I know they're ailing with, and bring up that product.
Did you do that with her that day?
I did.
Okay. What were you not doing when you felt embarrassed? Like, what were you avoiding doing?
I think I was avoiding just being transparent, being honest on my own failures. Mm-hmm. I will say that on certain people I have in the past, if I felt comfortable enough, I will right away say, now, I am where I am because of my own issues. I've went through some stuff. We did go through a couple of really hard family issues and deaths in our family this last year. And so I would use that as an excuse, not a fake excuse. It's really true. But within the last 8 years, there's been multiple things. And I usually go to those, bring them back out of the closet as my justification.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Last year, friend said, "Where are you?" You said, "I'm a silver." You think I should be further along. You feel embarrassed. And when you felt embarrassed, you changed the subject to other people in the business to highlight their success. Take the focus off of yourself, shine a light on someone else. So you're deflecting, right? Not that you should or shouldn't. You pretend that you're not embarrassed. So you have some resisting of emotion going on within yourself happening there. You pretend to be upbeat and positive, which means, all in all, you're lying to your friend about what you think and feel, right?
True.
And you said that you said yourself, you avoid honesty of own failures and you make excuses for yourself. You said, I try to be upbeat and positive, but you're lying to her when you do these things, right? So lying to friend, we can just sum that up in one bucket, all those things, lying to friend, right?
Right.
And then you judge yourself up in your head the whole time, right? Like you judge yourself, you even, justify, well, we had these family things and this is why I'm not further along. Like, it's interesting how our brain always does this. Whenever you hear yourself say the word should, whether it's about you or somebody else, what happens is instantly you mirror and become defensive. It's just what the brain does. It's your lower brain. It's trying to efficiently handle the thing that has gone wrong in your mind, right? So of course, justification is going to show up and making excuses is going to show up in your action line here, because you are literally saying, I should be further along, right? And judging self. You're also judging your friend because you are trying to control what she's thinking. There's a little bit of like manipulation of friend here, whether you recognize it or not, because you're like, I don't want her to think that I'm not further along, but I'm not further along. And I think I should be further along. And so there's all of this, like trying to manipulate what friend is feeling, which is impossible. We cannot control what other people feel.
Right.
They have their own thoughts, and from those thoughts come their feelings, right? So we're manipulating friend, we're lying to friend, we're judging self, we're judging friend and what we think she's going to think about us, right? And then we are deflecting to avoid honesty, right?
Yeah.
And the result is I'm not further along. And our brain thinks it's because you're not doing the business right, or you're not further along, or you're 51, or all these other things. Your brain thinks that it's because of that. But the only reason why you're not further along is because of this thought, I should be further along.
Yeah.
Because every time you think it, you're going to feel embarrassed. And then these actions show up for you that we just listed off. They might look a little bit different every time, but I promise you're going to see the same buckets of defensiveness, excuses, lying, manipulation.
Yeah. And
it's crazy when you look at it in the buckets, isn't it?
It is.
Because in your mind, like what happens in your mind when you hear those words, when we put them in the buckets?
Hearing manipulation and lying, like it makes me sad because I don't want to be like that. I don't want to lie to people that I care about. I don't want to lie to anybody, it makes me sad to hear that those are the ways that I am handling being a silver still or whatever.
Well, and it's our brain then will sometimes go into like beat ourselves up, right? We're like, we shouldn't do that.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because like we think that's going to make us feel better. Let's beat ourselves up.
Right.
And tell ourselves how awful we are. That will fix this.
Yes. Let's serve worms for dinner.
Right. It doesn't fix it though, right? It actually makes it worse. Right. And I think the most beautiful thing to allow yourself right now to do is that feeling of sadness that overcame you, where you teared up a little bit just there. And you were like, I don't want to be that person. Let that sadness just come in. Like, just let it come and be like, Yep. Wow. Having a realization here.
Yeah, totally.
Is that the
100%.
person I want to be? Nope.
Yeah,
Best news ever because I get to change.
right.
And
That's so cool.
also having compassion for yourself and being like, so crazy because I'm actually not that person
Mhm.
in other areas of my life.
Right.
Like I don't lie usually. I don't manipulate usually.
Mhm.
I don't, I'm not defensive usually. Isn't it
Yeah.
so interesting that those are the things that are coming up for you
Mhm.
with this
Right.
thought, I should be further along?
I would have not picked those out
That's what
at
comes
all.
out of it. Every time you pick it, every time you choose to think it,
Mhm.
it's showing up.
Right. Right. I didn't see it like that at all.
I
So
mean, and so it's no wonder you're not further along.
yeah. Yeah. And
Have
I
compassion
sometimes
for self there. We can be like, no wonder. My goodness.
right. Right.
It's
Exactly.
crazy.
And I
So
don't want to just be a
fascinating.
martyr about it either. I don't want to
Right.
carry it forever. I used to tell myself, oh, it's been 4 years. I'll just be that girl up on stage that'll say, hey, if it took you 4 years, I'll have a story to tell. Well, the story at 8 years, I mean, come on. Is there going to be anybody there that is in the 8-year column still? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
What is the upside of asking yourself that question?
What do you mean?
Like choosing that, like, is there really going to be anyone at 8 years?
Well, I don't know if there is an upside. It's just a punch at myself. So,
Exactly.
yeah, you're right.
Exactly. It's
You're
this
right.
memorized model that you do to yourself
Mhm.
to
Yep.
punish yourself.
Right.
It's sort of like the girl that buys who's in a size 20 and she wants to be a size 2. So every day she gets the size 2 pants out as motivation.
Mhm.
There
Yeah.
is no upside of doing that to ourselves and beating
Right.
ourselves up like that.
Right.
It's counterproductive in achieving our goal.
Right. And that's so good that you brought that up because that was my before COVID hit, but before it started, that my weight started to come up. And so I was just like, oh, well, how do I talk about these healthy products when in the last 2 years, those that are closest to me have seen me went up like 3 sizes? I mean, I used to be so thin. And then all of a sudden, as the clock has been ticking and things have slowed down, and me not being able to get out and exercise as much, like it's just that you feel like a fake of how do I talk about health unless I am Jane Fonda herself in her prime? It's ridiculous. I get it. As I say it, it's even more ridiculous when I'm hearing it. But it's just these
It's just all your thoughts.
expectations.
No,
It is.
it's just all your thoughts.
Yeah.
Literally everything you just told me are all your thoughts, and your brain is like, and they are facts.
Yeah.
Not a
True.
single thing that you just told me was a
Yeah.
fact. Not
True.
one of them. Right.
Yeah.
And not one of them is productive in helping you achieve your goal. It's all counterproductive. It's all, see, like your brain is always going to look for evidence of what you believe, even if you have thought errors in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like your brain's
Right.
like, yeah, like you're gaining weight. How can you be a health and wellness advocate if you are gaining weight?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is wrong with you gaining weight? What's the problem with that? What's your brain tell you that's wrong with it?
That my appearance goes against the what is it? What the billboard advertisement is. And I'm not saying
And what is that? What's the billboard advertisement?
that if you're in health and wellness and you're promoting like take this to help you with bloating or weight loss, well, if you're promoting it, how come it's not working for you?
Is it not working for you?
It is working for me in other ways, but my problem is, and I know it, it can only work so much unless you're self-sabotaging the product. You know, my diet is not good. My exercise isn't good. So I know
what is healthy?
You're getting me, Emily. Healthy to me is someone that outwardly shows it, like they work out, they look healthy in their physique, I guess. And that's not good to say, because I know that there are people that are probably health or on the scale, it's larger number than what I am, and they're living wonderful, productive, happy lives and take Plexus. But for me personally, I feel like it's not looking like this and in this size.
Well, it's kind of fascinating to sit on this topic for a minute here, because, you know, I have a friend who just ran a Spartan race, and I'm skinnier than her. She is definitely in better shape than me. She counts her macros. She's super picky about what she puts in her body. Doesn't touch soda. If you line up all the facts, she's healthier than me. But outwardly, I'm skinnier. So who's healthier?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's true. It's
just kind of interesting to look at it and challenge our beliefs.
Right.
Because in our society, there is a belief that is accepted culturally that skinny is healthy. What does size have to do with it?
I guess for me, because I've been thinner, that a size matters, because then that means I'm more fat. And I know that that's a myth, because I can weigh more because I have more muscle.
What's wrong with fat?
I guess it's just how I feel, how I look. Thank the Lord, my husband loves me no matter what. But I've just changed so much. And size just means that I failed at taking care of myself, because I'm heavier.
Interesting.
I'm
to
lazy.
Notice that thought. Size means that I have failed.
For me personally, I don't look at other people this way.
Sure. We're just looking at your brain right now. We are just looking at what your brain is doing right now. And what your brain is telling you is that size means I have failed.
I have failed, or that I'm lazy at my goals.
I'm lazy at my goals and I've failed.
And those make me want to shut down when I have opportunity to share Plexus.
I'm curious to know, do you have these same thoughts about where you are in your business? I'm lazy at my goals. I've failed.
Yeah. I'm just laying it out there.
It's kind of fascinating how our brains have this like carryover, right?
Sure.
Like a lot of times you'll see this, in like the world of psychology, they'll call it addiction transfer. Oprah talked about this when she was trying to lose weight. She said, I'll sit down and I'll eat an entire bag of lettuce because I have to be chewing something. And I used to sit down and eat a bag of potato chips. Right. And she's like, so now I sit down and I eat a bag of lettuce. And I don't know if she still does. This was like, I think I heard her say that like over 10 years ago. But when I look back at that as a life coach now, when I look back at that, I'm like, never fix the problem.
Yeah.
Right. It's gonna keep showing up until we change the belief. And when we change the belief, we change the emotion, and that's what changes behavior.
Right.
Right. So right now you have a set of beliefs about your business and about your body.
Mm-hmm.
And those set of beliefs create emotion. And your emotions are what drive your behavior.
Yes.
And your behavior is what gives your results.
Yeah. Right.
So that's why we can't outrun and just work harder and take more trainings and expect it to work.
Yeah. Right.
It's why we can't just work out more to eat more.
Right.
It's why we can't just take our supplements and eat chocolate peanut butter ice cream every night for dinner and wonder why we're not losing weight.
Right. It's true. It's true. Yeah.
So what's another way to interpret where you're at with your body right now?
I don't know if this is what you're asking, but I feel like sometimes I just gave up. I gave up on myself. Yeah. And then I'll avoid, I get in the trap of, I know the right things to do, and then I'll avoid it and I'll self-soothe by saying, oh, well, I'm just going to look at Instagram real quick. And then I start scrolling. And before you know it, you're in a casino and 5 hours have went by, not that long. I have never done it that long, but exaggerating. But yeah. And
it's kind of interesting how you're like 5 hours. I've never done that before though.
But I really haven't.
But what if you did?
Yeah.
Right?
I
Your
definitely
brain's
have
like, oh my gosh, that would be so shameful. Right?
Yeah.
I have to defend that I'm not doing that. Right? You're going to see this pop up in anywhere where you feel shame or embarrassed. These same actions pop up. Right? It's like that addiction transfer almost, right? And in the land of life coach, we call that buffering, where we avoid negative emotion. So we scroll to numb out.
Yep.
Right. And I'm going to draw something for you here because I love talking about this from the standpoint of Christianity, especially. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've probably seen me talk about the 50-50 before, right?
I think so.
Life is 50-50, whether we like it or not. 50% positive and 50% negative. Emotions like relief, joy, happy, excited, love, all here on the positive side. Then we have things on the negative side like shame, guilt, sad, embarrassed, what else? Negative emotions that you can think of.
Frustration or anger.
Frustration, good. Frustration, anger. All right. And when we are in the negative emotion, because we have our lower brain, our primitive brain that has not evolved, our higher brain is our prefrontal cortex. It's where we make our decisions from. It's what separates us from the animals. Our animalistic brain is our lower brain, our primitive brain. Our human brain is our higher brain, our prefrontal cortex. All right.
Okay.
Our prefrontal cortex is always in charge. Our lower brain thinks it's in charge. It can't do anything without our prefrontal cortex deciding we are going to pick up the pen and use it.
Wow. Okay.
We give a lot of power over to our lower brain, which is why we eat the ice cream at bedtime and gain 20 pounds during COVID. Because our lower brain's like, we might die. This feels scary. Let's eat ice cream to avoid feeling scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Scared is down here on the negative emotion.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so buffering is out here. This is all buffering. And buffering is what I like to call outer darkness. It's where you are when you are beyond feeling. And in my religion, we have stories of people from back when, before Christ lived, and then when he lived, that talk about how the people were beyond feeling. They were numb to it, right?
Right.
And I had this realization as I was going through coach certification. Oh my gosh, that's every time I buffer. Every time I buffer, I'm beyond feeling. So when I eat ice cream to avoid feeling scared or lonely or shame or guilt or sadness or embarrassment or frustration or anger, when I scroll social media to avoid feeling lonely, bored, I don't want to feel bored, so I'll scroll social media.
Right.
I don't want to feel guilt, so I'll scroll social media. I'm not further along in my business, so I'm going to go scroll social media and avoid feeling guilt. Right?
Which then after you feel worse guilt.
Exactly. That's how we know it's buffering. No, for everyone. The way we know we have buffered is there is always a net negative result. Some people are like, well, how do I know I'm buffering instead of coping? Like, for example, how do I know, when I exercise every day, am I buffering when I exercise because I'm frustrated and I want to go burn off my frustration on the treadmill?
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel when you're done? Do you feel like energized or happy or like, wow, that really lifted the weight off my shoulders. I feel better now. When you feel better, like not like instantly better, but when you're like, I really found some clarity there and I feel relief, right? Then you know it's coping versus buffering. Buffering is always going to give you a net negative result, like the one you're seeing right now, which is I'm not further along. It's a net negative. So we know you're buffering in there, right?
Right.
And so what I teach here is that when you are buffering, you are beyond feeling. And God gave us bodies to come to earth to feel the good and the bad. And when we buffer, we are not in God's power. We are in Satan's power. We are in his grasp.
Right.
He has power over us when we buffer.
So it's like we are not leaning on God to help us through that negative side. We're just avoiding it 100% through buffering, then letting Satan take over.
Right. And some people right now are thinking, no more buffering, can't buffer, buffer's bad. Got it. Check, 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 check. That's your lower brain being super efficient. but
Yeah.
this is part of it. All of it. This is the
Okay.
human experience. Buffering, we all do it.
Yeah.
Positive emotions, we all experience it. Negative emotions, we all experience it.
Right.
But here's the thing, when the more we buffer, the more we are in resistance of feeling the negative, and the bigger it all gets. The further away from the positive we go.
Mm-hmm.
We think we're coming over here. We're like, oh yeah, scroll social media. This feels so much better than guilt right now. Scroll, 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 scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll, 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 scroll.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh yeah.
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 And then,
Feeling so much better, except, oh, I'm not further along.
yeah.
I hurt me.
Yes.
I don't trust myself. When
Mhm.
that net negative shows up, which it always will when we buffer,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
always going to come from buffering,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And then before you know it, I'm setting up my bedroom in the buffering and pushing the walls out to make it a bigger buffer.
Right. We think we're going this way when we buffer, but we're not. We're going out here. And the only way back is to process and feel the negative emotions.
Wow. Okay.
And so we can look at it and we can say, we can always start with compassion and curiosity is what I recommend. That's what I teach. Start with compassion and curiosity of self, right? Think about if you were talking to yourself as a child.
Mm-hmm.
If you were like, yeah, I should be further along, because that thought, it's going to come up as long as you believe it. And right now you are 100% committed to believing it. And you have a ton of evidence for why. You had some family things that came up. You had all these other things that you listed off to your friend in the excuse bucket and the defensive bucket.
Yep.
Yeah. And so does everyone else. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Just not.
Yeah. Well, that comparison trap, which is for another day, that makes you really feel like everybody's got their stuff together. I mean, look at Instagram, right?
And comparison is over here.
Yeah.
Right?
I was going to mention it, but you had enough going, but
yeah,
for sure, that's what it does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it could even be in the land of buffering a little bit.
Okay.
Comparison can be over in buffering because for you, especially, you have some victimization going on in your action line as well that I didn't say out loud, but I saw, meaning you like, poor me. It's just never going to work for me. Like, I don't know if you've looked at my email yet today when I talked about past and future focused. Have you seen the Feel It Friday video yet?
I was scrolling to make sure I had the right passcode and I saw it and I was like, I got to get on, but I want to go back. I will
watch that today. It's only 8 or 9 minutes long. And I talk about these 3 thoughts. That doesn't work for me. I've had this issue my entire life. I'm not the kind of person who can do that.
Okay.
This is living in the past and it's all victimizing self, right?
Okay. Yes.
But when you do that, and then in your action line, it shows up that you're comparing yourself to other businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might be buffering with it because you're like, I don't want to feel embarrassed. I want to feel happy. And so I have to compare myself to somebody else. And then I can feel better about my situation.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't use other people's example of success to highlight to others that anything is achievable.
Right.
Like,
that's my motive.
It's like, what are your reasons for it? And do you like them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a question I ask myself a lot. Is a lot of times I'll do something and I'll be like, I stand behind my decision.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Do you like your reasons for it? Yep. Okay. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. You're true to yourself for sure with that.
Yeah. All right. So compassion for yourself. This is where I want you to start.
Okay.
Compassion for self of I should be further along. Should I?
I don't really deserve it because I haven't put in the work for it. So honestly,
And I feel like that's sort of like getting back into like the beat yourself up category a little bit. I don't deserve this. Why not? Don't
but
you?
well, it's like somebody saying, how come I'll just use Plexus? Why am I not an emerald? I work on my business 2 days a month. You know, I mean, what are you expecting? And so when I truly say, should I be further along with knowing my personal past? I'm not saying it for sympathy or from someone to pat me on. It's okay. No, I'm just being black and white, like for myself, I guess.
Which can cause more beating up, right? Like,
Okay.
so I want you to really work on compassion because
Okay.
because compassion is, yeah, of course we'd be here. Like we're just figuring new things out about ourselves.
Oh.
We didn't even realize that we were doing this whole time. Instead of being like, yep, see, did this to yourself.
Wow.
Right? There's a big difference in how you're talking to yourself.
Okay.
And I
True.
just want you to notice that when you say things like, yeah, well, what do you expect? You only work 2 days a month. This is what you get. Like that is beating yourself up versus, you know, again, picture yourself as a child, like a 2-year-old. And looking at a child who can't tie their shoes, like you would not yell at them and be like, this is what you get. Like, you should figure this out. Like, I don't know why you can't tie your shoes. Like, you've been alive for 2 years. Why haven't you figured this out yet?
Gosh. Yeah.
You wouldn't. You'd be
No.
like, oh, let me do it for you. Come here. This is not a big deal. Let's just give Velcro. We don't even need to learn to tie our shoes.
Yeah.
I don't even know if my 3rd child, who is 9, I don't think he even knows how to tie his shoes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not even a problem.
Yeah. My youngest of 6 was probably 9 or 10 before we started saying, okay, let's get some regular shoes.
But like, why does he need to learn to tie his shoes? Like, that's literally the question. I started stressing about it this summer and I was like, oh my gosh, like he doesn't know how to tie his shoes. And like, I was like, we have to learn how to tie shoes. And then all of a sudden I was like, why?
Yeah.
This is why God made Vans in many different colors and patterns.
There you go.
I totally don't need to learn. He totally does not need to learn to tie his shoes.
Right.
And he doesn't want to learn to tie his shoes.
Well, there you go.
And so I'm like, I mean, I wish I wouldn't have bought like the $90 Nikes with the shoelaces for him, but I'm like, well, maybe my youngest will want to wear them in a couple of years. Maybe he'll want to learn to tie his shoes.
Yeah. Oh, that's
right.
cute.
But we go into this like, we got to fix it. This is a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and so
critical.
like you can apply this also to your body stuff with your weight. Because in your mind, you're like, this is a problem. We have to fix it. We are bigger. And we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Who says?
Makes it worse.
Who says we shouldn't be bigger?
Yeah.
People.
Right. Yeah.
People
Caring. Yeah. Caring about what people say.
Media. Do I want to believe that?
I don't have to.
But right now you want to. You're like super committed to it. And I find myself being super committed to it also.
Well, you guys are amazing with your 6 for 6. I'm like, why don't I just do that? Why don't I just do it? You know, and anyways.
But like, that's a great question to ask yourself and let your brain answer. Why don't you just do it?
Yeah.
Like, why not? Why aren't you doing it right now?
Oh, you're asking me actually. I think I just run out to the outer darkness. I just start saying, I'll make excuses, you know.
But like, why don't you do it? Just go work out today. Why not?
Yeah.
What are the excuses your brain tells you?
I feel like it's literally blank of why not. I have the ability, I have some equipment, I can just go for a walk. I wish that I had someone to do it with sometimes.
Don't want to do it alone.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
I honestly like get hot just thinking of it because I'm stressing on not even knowing what to say. What's the real reason besides the L word, like being so lazy? Like,
For me,
why? I'm
to be
like not motivating.
For me, I was like, I don't want to sweat. I don't want to wash my hair.
Inconvenience.
I don't like
then
the
I gotta
way I
start
feel. Makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't
Maybe I'm
wanna
trying to
touch
make
my
it so bigger.
clothes.
Right.
Don't want
Right.
to be cold, don't want to go to the gym, don't like the gym.
Yeah.
There's
All
like
that.
lots of reasons for you to explore and investigate here.
Okay.
And we are so trained to push it all away. Be like, no, 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 don't think that.
Yeah.
And what I want to help you learn how to do is go, interesting. Why?
Yes.
Do I want to keep believing that?
That's true. I easily can just walk away from it instead of dissecting it and digging up that root, you know? I make it so hard, just the question of why am I not exercising today? And then as you're saying all those reasons, I'm like, bing, 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 like that's me, that's me. Why can't I think like that? You know, why am I not coming up with those ideas? Because I'm so used to just running past the problem.
Yeah, there you go, being human again. Your lower brain just taking all the power.
Yeah.
Your prefrontal cortex being like, yep, take it all, have it, see it tomorrow, girl. Just like my shirt, right? Just like my shirt.
Yep.
Take all my money, Target.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. See you next week, girl.
Yep.
Right? It's like, oh, cool. Lower brain. Yep. Don't want to exercise today because you told me I might feel lonely when I'm exercising, and I don't want to feel lonely. So take all my power. Here you go, lower brain. We're not going to exercise because I don't want to feel loneliness, and I might feel lonely, and I might have to like shower and change my clothes and like do my hair again, and like that could be like a lot of work. I don't want to feel any negative emotions in any of that, so I'm just not going to do it.
And yet when I lay my head down
I'm going to call myself lazy. Because that's useful.
Right. Yeah.
What were you going to say? Sorry, what were you saying?
Well, no, all those things, like I'm not going to do it because of all this. And yet in the back of my mind, I already know, even though I'm going to feel worse tonight when I lay my head down, because when I think about my day, I'm going to think what I didn't accomplish. And I get up thinking, okay, I got to do this, and it's like this vicious cycle of the guilt, shame. It's like, I know what to do, and yet I'm putting it off, but then I'm really not putting off the bigger thing, which is the guilt that I failed again.
And you're letting your lower brain be in charge. When you don't have a plan ahead of time, your lower brain's in charge. Okay. When you make a plan the night before and you map it out, like tonight, decide what time are you going to exercise tomorrow? If this is a goal of yours,
right? Decide
tomorrow, what time? And then when that time comes, put your workout clothes on and just be like, yep, we're just going to do 10 minutes. Then we're going to be done. And then you can do more than 10 minutes if you want.
Sure.
But just like trick your brain a little bit and be like, yep, just going to do 10 minutes. Might feel lonely the whole time. Here we go.
Right.
And it's that prefrontal cortex deciding 24 hours in advance what you're going to do and then doing it. Same thing applies in your business.
Yeah.
Plan it ahead of time, because right now you are giving all your power away to your lower brain. And then you're like, yep, it's because that just doesn't work for me. Those trainings, that just doesn't work for me. And I've had this issue for 8 years. The whole time. It's because I'm 51. Yep.
You're amazing.
Also, it's because I gained weight in COVID. That's why. That's why I'm not going anywhere in my business. And I'm just also not the kind of person who can do that. So like, look at my friend Lori and look at Amber and like, look at all these other people. Cause like, I can't.
Mhm. Yeah.
Is it possible that you are more powerful and a better example of how to create a business than any of them?
I don't know, to be honest.
Take a guess. Is it possible? Is there any way that it's possible?
Sure, there could be
How
a
so?
possibility.
How so?
Because if I put effort in, the sky's the limit. I'm limitless if I apply and do the things. And there's no cap on, I guess, what my achievements can be when I do them.
There's no cap on my achievements when I do them.
I guess I can't tell the future.
No cap on my achievements when I do them.
When I put the work in to achieve them.
How does that, what feeling comes up when you think that? How do you feel right now?
I still feel that I want to go towards the negative.
That's because you're having a thought about it. When you think the thought, there's no cap on my achievement when I do them. Immediately, what emotion do you feel?
Fail.
Fail?
Well, like it because I haven't done it yet.
You're having a thought about it.
Failed.
You're having a thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel hopeful. I do feel there is hope. There is that feeling of like excitement, like, whoa, what if that's true?
Which one? Excitement or hopeful? Which one is stronger?
Hopeful.
Okay. This is super powerful. And then I'm going to move on to somebody else. But
yes.
There's no cap on my achievement when I do them. What did you say? That doesn't sound right.
No.
There's no cap on my achievement when I do
when I do the work to achieve them.
When I do the work to achieve them. And you feel hopeful when you think that.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden your brain's like, you're going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And you cover up that happy emotion, that nice emotion, hopeful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a trained habit.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you can choose this thought. I should be further along.
I don't want it.
And then you can transition every time you hear that thought, because it's going to come for as long as you believe it. And as long as you're like, yep, 8 years, been doing this 8 years. Look at all these other people that did it faster. Lori did it in 11 months. What's wrong with me? Collecting evidence, something's wrong with me. Yep, it's because I gained weight. It's because I'm 51. It's because I'm always worried to post because there's a perfect post out there. You said I overanalyze the perfectionism that has to be there. Nope, B- is actually good enough. When I go to hit post on something, I'm like, yeah, it's not perfect, but you know what? B-, here we go. Boop, got to get back to what I was doing. Taking way too much time on this. Go. Yeah. There's all these beliefs, all of them, and they're just stirring in a big belief pot. Mm-hmm. Big. And you're like, yep, it's all the reasons why I'm not further along. Except you could choose every time you think I should be further along, you could be like, and there's no cap on my achievement when I do the work. Let's go. It's the and clause. Mm-hmm. Like the Santa Claus clause. It was like Santa Claus #2, or maybe it was #1. I don't even remember.
I love those.
Mm-hmm. I love #1 the best.
Yeah.
But it's like the Santa Claus. Did you not read the clause on the card? You put the suit on, you become Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Right? It's the and clause. So you say, I should be further along, and there's no cap on my achievement when I do the work. Let's go. What emotion comes up Instantly, what feeling do you have when you hear me say that?
When I hear you say, let's go, I feel powerful and excited.
Powerful. Powerful, excited. My guess is that when you're feeling powerful and excited, you're not going to be changing the subject to other people, focusing off self, lying, manipulating, and justifying and judging.
Right.
My guess is in your action line, you're going to be like, ooh, what B- post could I throw up really fast? Who could I message? Who could I talk to? And be like, guess what? Been doing this for 8 years, like totally half-assing it. Maybe you won't swear because maybe you're like the non-swearing Christian. I would consider myself to be the swearing Christian, but I don't do all the words, just some of them.
Yeah.
And I try to not do them around my children. So I'm so sorry if your children are listening into this. This is a swear-free show. Half doing it. And I'm ready to like take my power back and do this. And I would love to do it with you. Like you would be so good at this. And here's why. You're organized. You have great influence. You are one of my favorite people on the whole planet. I love working with you. And I would love to do this together. Yeah. Let me show you these examples of other people who like didn't let things get in their way, didn't let their head get in their way. They did it like super fast. And now that like I'm like getting past that, we're going to go super fast. And like I'm looking for someone to partner with. Do you want to do it? Totally different, right? Right. Totally different. Totally different. Thank you so much, Emily. You're welcome. Okay. Tristan, do you want to be coached quickly before the call is over? The person who signed up for coaching messaged me halfway through and was like, I can't, my work stuff is totally running over. So Tristan, Kathy, either of you want to be coached? Anyone else want to raise their hand? Yes, Tristan, do you want to do it? We won't do long. We'll just do something quick.
Oh my goodness. That scares me to death.
You're like, I was just inside having a nice day. Now what's happening?
I was totally doing dishes, yelling at my children.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I do that too. So that's fine.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Like, what can I coach you on? Do you want me to coach you on yelling on your kids? Do you want me to coach you on your business?
Well, I'm homeschooling all of my children this year, so that's been new and interesting.
How's that affecting your business?
Oh my gosh. Kind of a lot. Like I didn't think, like she was saying, they can do it. All the people who are homeschooling their children, who homeschool like 14 children, and I'm only doing 3. And it's like, well, they can do it and fit their business and still grow and do all the things. But we just started like at the end of August, September. So I'm still trying to get into the swing of things.
So how's it going?
It's going pretty well. I don't know. I feel like I should still be like, they should still be doing like school things. Like I need a book, just give them a book and I can teach them. Cause I feel I'm not really teaching them like a whole lot. It's like, here's this worksheet on math, do it. Like, so I'm not a teacher. So, I feel I'm not doing a whole lot. But they're doing their math and they're reading the books occasionally. We're really bad about reading books. But they do a lot of paperwork. They like to do more paperwork than online stuff. So I've been trying to get more paperwork.
Homeschooling 3 children since August.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going? You said I'm not a teacher, was one of the things you said.
Yeah.
And how do you feel when you think I'm not a teacher? Hi, how are you, sweetie?
Yeah. I don't know, kind of useless.
Useless.
Like I'm not doing enough. Yeah.
Okay. And when you feel useless, what do you do typically?
Procrastinate.
What does
Like
that
we'll
look
do
like?
it in a little bit.
I
Put stuff
have
off,
3
do other
boys.
things.
I have 3 boys and a girl. And I'm just waiting to figure out when my kids are going to learn to, when my boys are going to learn to jump off the pavilion into the pool. And I'm trying to figure out if that's going to necessitate an ER visit or if it's just going to
Yeah.
be like something I say, do it again so I can catch it on camera.
Yeah. Well, my
Watching your kids
porch
jump
right
off
here.
the deck behind you,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my life. We are kin.
It's great. They're boys. I don't know what else to do.
Well,
They
Kathy
just do their
says,
own thing.
Kathy says she homeschooled for 15 years and you need to put cameras in to video record all the funny things.
Mm. Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, that would be
you're
like
sure
all
gonna
the
want to like go back and watch yourself yell at the kids while you're doing dishes. That'd probably be fun too. Yeah.
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 That's like all the like the super nanny when they do the shows and their cameras everywhere and you're just like, I don't want to see myself looking like that. Like I'm not that horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, you're not. You're just a mom. And like,
Yeah, who's trying
most
not to go
moms,
thing.
when cameras aren't rolling, most moms are like, just do your worksheet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't Stop jumping off the deck. Don't you know boys aren't supposed to jump off decks while their moms are on a Zoom?
Yeah. Don't you know to go inside and please be quiet and
I
quit
came out
talking
here
in
to
the
get
background?
away
That'd be
from
great.
you. Like, what are you doing?
Totally did. This is my attachee. He's my attached. So yeah, wherever I am, he definitely is right there beside me.
Of course he is. Yeah, because you're the best mom ever. Yeah.
I try.
So when you procrastinate, is that when you do dishes or what do you do when you procrastinate?
Anything. Dishes, run the sweeper, pick up all the things, laundry, cleaning. Cleaning is usually I'm mad, I'm cleaning. If I want to procrastinate, I'm definitely doing something else.
It's your choice of buffer?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know why, because I don't like to clean.
Yeah.
But it's definitely.
Sean can always tell when I'm going to get my period because it's like 2 a.m. and I'm like, it's time to clean the bedroom. And I can't believe you would be so rude and sleep right now and not ask me like,
How rude.
What's wrong, babe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just, it's better for
so.
your safety if you just pretend to keep sleeping, honestly. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Please don't ask me what's wrong. What's the matter?
Don't fart
Is it my fault
while I'm doing it because that will make it worse.
Yeah.
Then I'll have to open the door. And then I'll hate you for farting and snoring while I'm cleaning at 2 a.m. because I'm mad about something else. Then I can like question my marriage and did I marry the right person and who knew a human could fart this much?
Like why?
Like why? And I'm never gonna make chili ever again. I can see that was the problem.
2 days in a row of making chili.
Oh my gosh, right.
Yeah, bad decision.
Yeah. Why do I even make dinner when it does this to my life?
Why?
Yeah, 100%. So kind of interesting. When you have this thought, and then I'll put you out of your misery, although I want you to know that nobody is bothered by your kids except for probably you. Because we're all like,
very annoyed.
It's not just me. Yeah. But you're such a good sport to even come on. You're like, lock the door and then I'll lock them outside. Yeah. See? I'm outside. I know you can't get away.
I tried. No, I can't.
Michele has 6 kids. I have 4.
I have 5.
Kathy
I have 5.
4.
I have 3 older girls.
Yeah. See, it's like, I've always said, if I homeschooled my kids, they'd be illiterate or dead. And in 2020 pandemic, we realized, yep, illiterate. Nobody
Yeah.
died. They just were all, they didn't do school. We got to the end of the year and one of my children had 15 missing assignments.
Mm.
And I literally messaged the principal on the last day and I said, we're done. Gave it my best effort, which was I did not teach my children. And you can totally hold him back. And if you do, we totally respect it. But we're not going to turn in the 15 assignments. And she was like, okay, we'll see you next year. I'm like, perfect. Like, I meant it. I was like, do what you got to do. But like, we're not doing the 15 assignments. It's done. We're done. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's over.
It's done.
Yeah.
So, you're homeschooling your 3 kids since August. You have this thought, I'm not a teacher. And then you feel useless. And then you procrastinate by doing dishes, doing the sweeper, laundry, cleaning, even though you hate cleaning. Really, you're just buffering because you don't like this feeling of useless. Right? And then your result is, I'm not being the homeschooling mom I want to be, maybe.
Yeah. Cause they're all like cute and organized. Cause I follow some, like, even before I even thought about homeschooling, some of my other friends are homeschoolers and, they have their rooms set up and they're all pretty and they have their curriculum, which I just, since it was like, hey, we're not going to school today or this week or ever again this year. It was kind of thrown together. So everything I'm doing is like worksheets that I find online for free or websites for free. So I don't have, hundreds of dollars to spend on curriculum. So everything is free. So I kind of feel like they're not getting as much out of it as I would hope.
And also, you're not getting as much out of it.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying it the way I want. Would also be a result, right?
Oh yeah.
And you're like,
yes,
it's because I can't spend all this money on the worksheets. It's because I don't have my room organized like these other cute moms do. But really, it's coming from several thoughts, one of which might be, I'm not a teacher.
Yeah.
And so like what I would tell you to do as you think about this in the future is, what's a teacher? What defines
my mom as a teacher? Everybody's a teacher. Everybody has something to teach.
Yeah, what makes a teacher?
I mean, you can teach your kids anything. My husband's a contractor, so he built the boys a ramp the other day. And he was showing them how to like make the plane of the ramp. So that's teaching. I bake, not all the time, but I mean, or I cook dinner, measure different things. So everybody's a teacher.
So this thought of I'm not a teacher, is it true?
No.
But every time you pick it, this feeling of useless comes.
Yes.
And your result is always, I'm not being the homeschool mom I want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm not enjoying it the way I want.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Because we feel like there's like this certain way to do it.
Yes.
Same thing with our business, right? We're like, oh, my posts aren't as funny as hers. I don't have like the cute, I don't know how to put my products in like a boho background.
I don't have a boho background.
Be able to rank up because I don't even have boho in my house. I don't even know what my decor style is. I just have like
carpet together,
paint, and like some couches I picked out at RC Willie. Like that's what I have. I think I should probably get new light fixtures, but like I walk into the store and I'm like, I don't even know what to buy. Like, is that its
No.
style? I don't know.
My husband's the decorator. Like, he's the contractor. He picks out the colors. He does everything. We kind of just go along and live here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But definitely
like,
with the posts too, like everything is, they can have these long, drawn out, beautiful posts like Brooks, and they're like huge long. And I'm like, okay, try my stuff.
right. Right. And both ways work.
Yes, they do. And I've
Yeah.
seen both of them work.
Yeah.
I
And
just think they should be better.
could you
Food for
be
thought.
a teacher to your kids? Like, in what ways could you be a teacher to your kids? Is there another way to interpret? Like, what's another way to interpret yourself as a teacher?
Just doing different things.
Like what?
Things that like baking, and like we go fishing. Just doing just different things. Just like doing the measuring things, how to measure, how to mix things together, how things come together. I don't know. Just do stuff around the house, how to do stuff around the house. We make our own laundry detergent. Like, teach them how to do more homemade things.
And so when you have this thought come up where you're like, I'm not a teacher. Like I am a teacher. I went to school. I have a degree in elementary education. I taught 3rd and 2nd grade. And when my kids were homeschooling in March, April, and May last year, I was like, I cannot teach my kids. I didn't sign up for this. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. But guess what? I was a teacher. And then I hired a babysitter to be a teacher. And then she quit because it was so miserable. And I was like, I don't even blame her. This is horrible. These were all my thoughts.
Yeah.
These were all my thoughts, right? That created my experience that made it worse.
Yeah.
Right. And so anytime that you choose this thought of I'm not a teacher, you could ask yourself this question, and what else is true?
Yeah. I am a teacher because I'm teaching them to do other things.
Yeah. And you
Not
just list it out in your brain.
2 + 2.
You just list it out in your brain. Right.
Yeah.
And in your business, if you find yourself being like, I'm just not like diamond material.
Yeah.
I'm just not like rank up material. You could be like, and what else is true? I'm hardworking. I'm a go-getter. I can achieve anything that I work hard for. And both are optional to believe. Right? So noticing what you believe about yourself and that creates your experience, and you want that result, or do you want a different result?
Yeah.
Because you can both are optional, and you get to pick. Sometimes you're going to be like, yep, today I am not a good teacher, or I am not a teacher. Yep, here we are. There I am. That's how I want to feel. I want to feel really useless today. Yep. And then after like 75 days of that, you might be like, maybe I want to believe something else about myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's not a fun one.
Yeah.
That's not a fun one to feel in any aspect of feeling useless.
Thanks for getting coached on the spot. This was so fun.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for the heart palpitations there in the sweaty pits.
I promise this is not normal, but you were such a good sport. You could have just ignored me and ghosted me.
No, you said me by name. No, there was no ghosting after that. I was like, is there another Tristan on? Like,
is there another
nobody
one?
has that name.
Nope.
Nobody has that name.
Well, I loved it. I love so much applicable here. So thank you to Michele. Thank you to Tristan for getting coached today. And we will meet right back here on Monday for our call at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. See you then, guys. Bye.